Thank you very much, Dr. Gould and Mrs. Goff, for the invitation to attend here at Jamaicans for Justice on this sad occasion when we record a high level of fatalities caused by the police. A record high level outside of state of emergency or the Tivoli incursion of 2007. 1997. What year am I? 1997. My years are getting tough. Are getting crossed.
2007.
2007, yes. Yes. Jamaicans want to feel confidence in their security forces. They want to be able to know and be assured that when the security forces take life, that it is justified. The only way they can feel that confidence is if there is accountability in the force and there is an impartial investigation of incidents where lives are taken. That is an investigation which is outside of the police force by persons unconnected to the police force. It is clear that for many years Jamaicans have lost that confidence. It is for that reason the police force is not treated with the same public regard as, say, the army is treated in polls on that issue. There have been many miscarriages of justice where cases brought against police officers have failed for a variety of reasons, and people wonder whether justice is equal in Jamaica. There have been many times that incidents have occurred and persons have seen years pass before there is any action taken regarding those incidents. They have seen situations where police officers to be charged have, during this long period between the incident and them being charged, have fled the country and have therefore put themselves away or away from the reach of the justice system. INDECOM's role is to return that confidence by having impartial investigations. The trouble is, the public generally might soon lose faith in INDECOM and its role, because we are increasingly being overburdened by the amount and the nature of incidents, and in some instances the lack of cooperation on the ground from police and police officers involved and not involved in the incident. This current upsurge has put great pressure on our staff, and I would like to publicly commend the staff of INDECOM for the work that they have done. They come out at night, they come out at all hours of the day, go into difficult areas, sometimes when hostilities have not yet even subsided. They do so without any, without being armed or having any sort of protection. And they go on these scenes where sometimes they are met by the police who do not cooperate with them in the investigation. But yet, my staff have resolutely done their work, and I would like to applaud them for that. Yesterday, at the incident in Western Kingston. They went on the scene, and whilst there, hostilities resumed, and they had to leave that scene. They did further investigation as they could by going to the morgue and checking on the bodies of persons who had already been carried there. And even then they had to retreat and return to office. And it was in the late evening that they were able to return to that scene to process it. We want to deliver to Jamaica a high-class service where at the end of the day, Jamaicans can be assured with some amount of promptitude whether a shooting was justified, and if it was not, that persons face the court for their role in those shootings. What do we need? From the Commissioner of Police, I would like to publicly ask him to continue our cooperation that we have at our level and to implore the members of his force to comply with the law, which, for example, says that INDECOM must take charge of the scenes of incidents. We have had 3 incidents in recent time where the police force have refused to permit us to take charge of the scene. When they refuse, we cannot, of course, take charge of the scene by force. All we can do is prepare statements and prepare a case for submission. In that case, we cannot guarantee whether that scene has been properly processed or whether the exhibits from the scene are the right ones which have been taken to the laboratory. So we ask the Commissioner of Police to cause his members to obey the law with regards to who has charge of the scenes. We ask the force generally to recognize that INDECOM's role is not an advocacy group like Jamaicans for Justice who have their proper role to play. We are an impartial investigative group. And we are not out to get the police. We are out to search in each case for the truth. And in the long run, of course, the decision will be for the courts. We just present and prepare the case. To the government, we ask recognition that although we are in a period of budgetary constraint, that INDECOM requires greater resources so that we can increase our investigative staff. We need reform of the legislation to ensure that we can fully operate independently of the police force. So say, for example, the conduct of identification procedures to indicate who are the police officers who are at a scene, that we can do those ourselves and do not need to rely on the police force to do them for us. And we believe that by legislation, many of the issues which are now considered unclear about INDECOM's powers could be made pellucidly clear. We also note that it is some time now that we have called upon the police force and the Minister of National Security to consider the issue of mask wearing amongst members of the police force, making the point that in our considered view it is not legal, as it is not permitted in the police force book of rules, and also to consider the issue of police officers not always wearing their numbers on their uniforms. We have seen pictures of the incidents yesterday, and on the pictures I saw, The police officers displayed no numbers on their uniforms, so there was no way that someone could identify that police officer unless he had a relationship with the officer sometime prior. This practice leads to anonymity, which leads to impunity. We have been speaking on these issues for some time, and we have made recommendations to the police force regarding them, particularly noting that when police officers wear some form of kit, including the neon high visibility vest and some pouches, that they do not display their numbers. We have asked them to display numbers on ballistic vests and on high visibility vests, and also on their helmets, which is a common practice in some overseas police forces. The Commissioner of Police has decided not to comply with that recommendation, and we shall be forwarding that issue to Parliament. And we hope that Parliament and the Minister will consider the issue and realize that you can have strong policing but yet be accountable, yet the police be accountable for their actions. INDECOM is not calling for the police to step down from their duty. We realize that they have an onerous duty in Jamaica, particularly with the high level of violent crime. What we are calling for is respect for life, and recognition that respect for life means that the state has an obligation to ensure that where an agent takes life, that this is properly, impartially, and effectively investigated. INDECOM is prepared to do the task, but we are asking that there be no ambiguity in the fact that we are supported in that mission. So, in closing, we regret the loss of life, not because we are saying it was unjustified, because we do not know now whether it was justified or unjustified, but we regret any loss of life. And we hope that we'll be able to bring some resolution to these matters. Some cases have shown, for example, the fatal shooting of Mr. Hill in Negril, that if we get forensic evidence early, we are able to close investigations in a matter of 8 weeks in that case. Sadly, in other cases, we have not been able to have all of these elements work quickly. And therefore, we still have many cases on our docket which are over 2 years old. Again, I thank Jamaica for Justice for inviting us here, and I would like Jamaica to know that INDECOM remains committed to the task at hand. Thank you very much.